Title: Hand over all company property. HR sued after firing me. I just smiled and gave them the keys to the building. An hour later, the CEO called screaming, "Why is there an eviction notice taped to my office door?" Start, they said, hand over all company property. So I did. The keys, the ID, the laptop, even the parking pass. And I smiled when I slid the keys across the table, because I knew those keys would unlock their downfall. An hour later, the CEO called HR screaming, "Why the hell is there an eviction notice taped to my office door?" That was the sound of justice finally picking up the phone. 3 years, that's how long I gave them. My loyalty, my weekends, my voice in every late-night strategy call. I was the guy they called the backbone, the one who fixed things quietly while others took credit. HR loved me because I never complained. The CEO trusted me because I never missed a deadline. When they were pitching to investors, I built the decks. When they needed financial projections, I wrote them from scratch. I helped turn a dying startup into a company worth millions. And then, one Friday morning, I was summoned to HR like a school kid sent to the principal's office. 3 of them sat there: HR director, legal, and my own manager, faces frozen in corporate politeness. The words came out rehearsed. "We're restructuring. Your position has been made redundant." No warning, no gratitude, no decency. Just a polite execution. I didn't shout, I didn't beg, I just watched their eyes. The HR director couldn't even look at me. My manager, the one I'd trained from scratch, had a faint smirk. That's when I knew this wasn't restructuring, this was sabotage. Later that night, I found out why. A former colleague texted me screenshots, internal messages between my manager and HR. They'd framed me, claimed I'd mismanaged funds and violated compliance. Lies designed to remove me before my vesting date. My shares, my equity, my 3 years of sweat. They wanted it all wiped clean before my stock matured next month. And they almost got away with it. Almost. I spent that weekend in silence. I didn't drink, didn't sleep, just thought. By Monday, I had a plan. One that would not only clear my name, but collapse theirs in a single, legal, irreversible move. See, they forgot one thing. I wasn't just an employee. I was the registered signatory on half the company's leases. HR never updated the paperwork after the last expansion. Every office, every branch, my name was still on the lease agreements. And, more importantly, I was the one who'd signed the master property management contract, the one that gave me authority to terminate or enforce clauses on behalf of the company. They took my badge, but the city registry still listed me as a legal contact for their properties. All I needed was a reason. I spent 2 weeks gathering every document, every message, every recorded meeting where HR and my manager discussed my exit. Then I contacted an employment lawyer, not to fight them, no, to help me comply perfectly with every single demand they made. Return all property? Done. Sign the exit release? Done. Remove access to systems? Gladly. Everything was meticulous, clean, on record. Then came the real work. I reviewed the lease contract clauses and found one beautiful line. In case of significant misrepresentation or unethical termination of a registered party, the leaseholder, that's me, reserves the right to dissolve occupancy without penalty. That line was my nuke. With the help of my lawyer, I filed a formal ethical breach claim against the company for wrongful termination, citing their fabricated HR notes and messages. While that case sat in motion, I simultaneously executed the clause on the building leases. One document, one signature. The building management received my termination notice, effective immediately, citing legal breach of contract. And because I was still the valid contact on record, they had to comply. The next morning, the HR director received a letter from the building's legal department. All occupants must vacate premises within 72 hours pending verification of tenancy rights. By noon, there were yellow papers taped to glass doors. By evening, the CEO was on a call trying to understand how his company just got evicted from its own headquarters. That's when he called me. Why is there an eviction notice on my door? I kept my tone calm. Because your HR department terminated the person listed as your leaseholder. Consider it a chain reaction. Silence, then shouting, then threats. I hung up. They scrambled. HR tried to contact the property management office only to learn that I was the official correspondent. The CEO tried to revoke the contracts, but by then, the property owners had already started legal review. The news spread fast internally. Employees watched movers walk past their desks while the CEO screamed into his phone. A week later, an internal memo leaked. HR's fabricated documents exposed. Turns out, my lawyer had quietly submitted them as evidence in the wrongful termination claim. The company's reputation nosedived. Their investors pulled out. HR was fired. My former manager resigned before they could. And me? I received a settlement offer large enough to buy the car I used to dream about in their parking lot. But I didn't buy it. I bought the silence. People asked if I felt bad. I didn't. They played chess thinking I was a pawn. They forgot I built the board. When I handed over those keys, I wasn't giving up. I was unlocking the endgame. Now, every time I pass that empty building, lights off, windows dark, I remember the day they fired me. The smirk, the lie, the arrogance. And I remember how, with one calm signature, I reminded them what happens when you betray the wrong man. Justice doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just quietly changes the locks.